Hello and welcome to the Armchair Pundits post-match review show. It's your boy Monts, and I'm here to review United versus West Ham at OT. What can I say? Deflated, disappointed, sour tasting. The list could go on. Toothless. All right, and that's just the first half. Before I get into this, I want to make sure everyone that's watching this does a few things for me before we get really into the Man United West Ham. Can you follow us on all our socials? Click that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And make sure you press that notification button so you can see when we're posting. And please leave the comments because one or all of us are in there ready to reply. And we really, really do appreciate all your feedback. But yeah, United versus West Ham. Sick to my stomach. I think it started out for me pretty much just like looking at the team sheet and thinking to myself, why are we making so many changes again? I appreciate that we played only a couple of days ago, and you'd argue that, you know, it could be fitness levels, but then we're playing like one match a week, or, you know, where we're not in any other competitions, unfortunately. We're playing matches like once a week, if that. So the fitness levels should be fine. Yes, we've got injuries, Seshko's, Maguire, and so on. But that should be no reason for us to be, you know, setting out a team against West Ham at home with arguably a weakened defence and an attack that's probably not necessarily going to get you anything out of the game early on. So yeah, we started out with a back three with Heavens sitting in the middle of Shaw and Mazraoui. That's the first time them guys have played together this season. Why we're playing Heavens in the central role when we've got Yoro on the bench, I'll never know. Could it be confidence? I said earlier on it could be fitness. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just feels like an excuse or a cop-out. Do you know what I'm saying? You got the players on your bench. If they're fit enough to be there for me, they can start. If you need to, bring Heavens on. But someone like Yoro that's had enough games underneath his belt should be starting the game. The midfield for Diallo, Casemiro, Fernandes, and Diallo, that's been a working formula for a while now. I don't know if I would have started out with Diallo on the left-hand side. I feel like I probably would have started out with Dorgu. But looking at some of the things that Ferguson, I wish. Some of the things that Amorim have been saying in the post-match, or in the post-match, just in the media, I feel like some of the boys are lacking a little bit of bite and a little bit of edge to their training and their game. So that's the reason why he's not necessarily selecting them to start out. But, you know, it is risk versus reward. And when you're at home and we're in a half-decent form, you got to roll the dice on some of these guys, man. Pay big money for them and they're getting paid big wages. So you got to expect a performance for them. Tell them what you want and, you know, tell them they need to deliver. I mean, the first half was horrible to watch for any United fan for the first, say, 25 minutes. We did not have an absolute clue what we were doing. Our transitions were poor. We weren't linking up more than 3 or 4 passes to even progress up the pitch. You had the likes of Heaven that, you know, in the first 10 minutes, he makes a rash challenge on Bowen that puts him on a yellow. So straight away, he's going to be apprehensive. Sure, to be honest, he had a good game, but I was looking for a little bit more bite up front. Now, Zirkzee earned his place in the starting lineup for me today. And I would say that he didn't necessarily do much to say, like he didn't do enough for me to really say, you know, I'll put a stamp on this. I'm starting next game. Nah, like the hold up play, he kept on, you know, dropping short as he does because he's not what I would say a traditional number 9 that wants to go in beyond like Šeško would. He keeps on coming short, which means the strikers, the defenders that are usually marking him are free. So they haven't really got much to do. So he's picking up the ball in what I'd argue is not really dangerous positions. Cunha, he started today, and I've been eager to see him back out in the squad and just really putting his best foot forward and seeing if he can start really putting his, you know, his Man United blood, leave it on the pitch. Again, he still looks like he needs a bit of time. He looks nervous. He looks anxious. He doesn't look as, you know, calm and calculated when he was playing at Wolves. Yeah, you could argue that, you know, it's the weight of the Man United shirt, but you want to play for the club. So play your game. Do the normal things, you know, take in your one-on-one challenges. I appreciate it's against Wan-Bissaka, but take on your 1v1s, making sure you're winning them battles, winning fouls and so on. He didn't really do that for me today. And I was really disappointed. You know, I mean, the first half, we never really had a threat on goal until about the 25th minute. And outside of that, I can't really remember much of a real threat Man United posed on West Ham. Bearing in mind, Man United are at home. So we're expecting dominance, which we had overall. But execution, no, not at all. We barely showed a threat today. I'd say we played half an hour worth of football, 15 minutes in the first half, 15 minutes in the second half. So, you know, the first half ended and I've got to be honest, I was really, really dumbfounded how we had the last 15 minutes of the first half. We had a couple of corners coming in to the box that were really good corners, to be honest, that we didn't make anything of. We had an opportunity from Mbeumo, a nice little routine training park job between him and Bruno, where he tried to dink Areola off out of a corner, pretty much. That didn't come to nothing. Areola was he got a finger to it and tipped it over the bar. And you know, all our threat was coming down the right side with Ahmad, who was definitely on job. He definitely put his last game out of his head. Same thing with Mbeumo. Them guys were on the front foot, and that was the only side for me that was going to provide us with some sort of goal or an opportunity to create one. The first half closes. The first half ends 0-0. And at this point, I'm thinking, West Ham, for me, are one pass away from scoring. And if they score first, I don't know if we're going to even score today. And that's how I felt going into half time. So coming out, the changes were Heaven came off for Yoro, which you'd agree is the right decision to make, especially when he got his yellow in the first half and it was early on, and we came out into the second half 0-0. You don't want to risk one of the young bloods. You're getting like a rush of blood and making a rash challenge and getting sent off. That is the last thing we need. But Yoro coming on in the second half tells me that he could have started. So that's my frustration. Like, stop changing the squad just for the sake of changing the squad. If these boys can play, make them play. Like, fitness, all right, cool. You pay half an hour and we'll look at you after the first 30 minutes and see how you're getting on. I don't want to hear this start up, go on the bench. Nah, mate. Nah. He needs to start. So Yoro comes on and Heaven's off. We're playing. Yeah, we look good. We started the second half how we ended the first half. Lots of pressure in the West Ham defensive third. Lots of balls into the box. Ahmad 1v1 versus Diouf, knowing that he gave Diouf a yellow card in the first half, so he was taking him on every opportunity he got. Mbeumo was running the channels really well, but we just couldn't find that last pass, that last shot. We had a ball headed off the line by Wan-Bissaka. We had someone, I think Cunha had done a bicycle kick in the middle of the box when it came out for a second phase. That got blocked. Bruno then had a shot that came off the outside of the upright. There was lots of pressure, but no goal. No, onion bag celebration. It was just lots of huff, like I keep on saying, but not enough puff. And I'm just getting fed up of it. We didn't really look like we weren't going to score today until Ahmad sends the ball inside to Casemiro. First time Casemiro has a shot. Diallo standing in the middle of the penalty box, takes a deft touch and then sends Wan-Bissaka Areola one side and buries the ball bottom corner. Striker's instinct. Bad boy. 1-0 United, 58 minutes gone. Right. So we've got the momentum. We now need to take the opportunity and kill this game off because, like I've been saying, West Ham have been one pass away from being one-on-one with our keeper and giving us problems. Dogu comes on, Ugarte comes on, Mount comes on. Dalot's off after scoring 10 minutes after he scored. Cunha's off. To be fair, he began to stink out the joint, so that was warranted, and Zirkzee's off. Now, I didn't really agree with the Zirkzee substitution. And I know I said earlier on that he never had his best game. But the reason why I didn't agree with the Zirkzee substitution, because he was the only player on the pitch, high up the pitch, that could hold the ball. If that was the tactic that we wanted to go for, being 1-0 up. Hold the ball, bring others into play, wind the clock down a bit, win a few fouls. So him coming off the pitch now, everything we play needs to be on the deck. None of our guys are tall enough, big enough to win the battles with the West Ham centre-backs that are over 6'2". And, the whole back line, to be honest with you. So we're playing, and West Ham get a corner. Now, bearing in mind, up until this point, they've had a bag of corners. None of them have beat the first man, so I weren't worried. They made one substitution. The substitute goes to the corner, whips the corner into the box. We headed Mazraoui was on the line. He blocks the header, which was a flick from Bowen, and it goes straight to a West Ham player who's in the box free, and he buries it. 1-1. Now, my frustration comes out because I'm like, brother, this is what I've been saying to you for the last 80 minutes. If we do not score more than one goal against West Ham with the way we're playing today, we are going to draw or lose. It was simple as that. One pass away. So they equalise, and after they equalise, they look like they want to go for another one. Imagine that. We score, and we almost want to kind of secure the 1-0 when we've been playing poorly. And West Ham score with 10 minutes to go, and they want to go for the jugular. That's the difference in mindset. This is where United need to be. We were the home team. We are the home team. We are the better club. We are the bigger club. We should be imposing ourselves on these smaller clubs. But we're not doing it enough. And I feel like the changes that we're making is not allowing for continuity within the squad. It's not allowing for the chemistry to kind of build. We're making too many changes. Bearing in mind, that goal from West Ham came after we changed Diallo, and obviously Heaven that came off. So we made more defensive changes again. Bearing in mind, one of them was probably, warranted just because of the yellow card. But he's a young player. We're playing against West Ham, and you got to know that there's a certain type of player that can play against these teams that are going to try and steamroll you. Do you know what I'm saying? As you could tell, I'm frustrated because this was another opportunity for us to really get another 3 points. We'd be sitting 5th, just below Chelsea, and we can kick on from there. Instead, we're sitting 8th place, same points as Liverpool, who are playing poor, by the way. And we now need to go on and try and win our next game to try and get some kind of momentum. It isn't really, it's not going to fill you with any kind of confidence if you're a United fan thinking, our next game is away to Wolves. They've just had a new manager, and they've probably got a new manager bounce, although they did lose their first game. They're probably going, you know what? We beat United last time. We'll do that again. I'm hoping Cunha starts that game and we bury them. Pummel them. 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. But we need to get some results where we look convincing. We don't look scared. We don't look apprehensive. We look like a threat. We look aggressive. It's like 1 or 2 games we do that, we drop off for another. 1 or 2 games we do that, we drop off for another. We need to build some kind of momentum. Yeah, I don't know. It's another frustrating one for me. Another game where I feel like we've dropped points and we just need to shake it off. And I think everyone in the team today needs to definitely look at themselves and say, I could have done better today. So I'm going to do the player ratings. Lemens, to be honest, he couldn't have done nothing for the goal. And he was definitely commanding in his box today. I don't personally feel like he put a foot wrong. He didn't really have much to do today. So that's the only reason why I'm going to rate him a 6, because he didn't put a foot wrong, but he also had nothing to do other than the goal that went in, where it was from a corner kick and he wasn't going to get there because it was just the phase of play. I feel like a 6 is only because he had barely anything to do. As Rawi, I'm going to give him a 7. Defensively sound. He gave an extra body in the attacking areas for Amada and Mbeumo even Bruno to, try and do bits and get around the low block of West Ham. He gets a 7. Shaw, I'm going to give Shaw a 6. There was a few rash challenges out there today. I feel like it was just through his frustration, and he didn't look as he didn't look as controlled as he has done in past games. So for me, that's probably one of the not so good games that I've seen from Shaw. So he gets a 6. Evan definitely gets a 6. Yellow card earlier on. He couldn't really impose himself on the game like I would want him to as a young man coming in to the main lineup and starting as well at home, and which led to him getting probably substituted at half time. But yeah, I'm going to think he gets a 6. Hello, he got the goal. It's probably his best performance again this season. Similar to my last pod that I did in our last match. He, for me, was consistent today. I think the only reason why he got subbed is just through he just looked dead on his feet, to be honest. But yeah, he had a really good game today. I'm going to give Dalot a 7. Fernandes, I'm going to give Fernandes a 7. He played well today, but I also feel like he's still got another 3 levels at least. He had 3 or 4 chances that he could have done better with today, and he kind of it was disappointing to see them go wide, come off the crossbar, or just the technique wasn't right. So I'm going to give him a 7. He didn't play badly, but he just didn't do enough for me to go into that 8 or 9 echelon, to be honest. Casemiro, he had a good game today. I'm going to give him a 7. He assisted Diallo for his goal, and defensively, he was pretty sound. They didn't really get around him easy today. Diallo, more impressed to him today than I was in his last match. He definitely imposed himself on the game today. Lots of 1v1s, and I would say that he won more battles than he didn't, even getting Diogo on a yellow card, which was something that Diallo was really good at. So I'm going to give him a 7. Mbeumo, 7. He had a couple of sighters on goal today. If it wasn't for the quick thinking of Aurelio, I feel like he would have got himself on the score sheet today as well. So I'm going to give him a 7. Cunha, 6. Wasn't his best game in a Man United shirt. I feel like he could have done miles better. I don't think he's going to be happy with today's performance, but so be it. You got to chalk these ones off. He's got another game to kind of make up for it against Wolves, so let's hope he bags a brace. And last but not least, Zirkzee. Didn't play as well as the last game. I'm going to give him a 6. He didn't really impose himself on the game like I'd want him to. Yes, he had a few touches of the ball and he won a few fouls, but I feel like he could have done a lot more and even created a bit more opportunities going forward. We had the substitutions in Yoro. I'm going to give Yoro a 6. He didn't have much to do today. Dorgu, I'm going to give him a 7. Ugarte, I'm going to give Ugarte a 6. I feel like he was a little bit slow to the pace today. He weren't popping the ball around as much as I'd like. Mount, 6. He didn't really do much. And that's pretty much it. Martinez came on for the last 2, but I'm not going to mark him. He came on for sure at the last bit, but he didn't really do much neither. He didn't have much of the ball. So yeah, a long post-match, more so because of my frustration. I'm hoping we can go and make amends to this poor performance. We've had this now, and we've had the loss against Everton at home, both where I feel like we could have got 6 points at home, 3-3, but it wasn't to be. It's your boy Monts. See you next week. Peace.